Well, this is what happens when you hit a whoop out in Johnson Valley a little too hard and you don't have the bump stops installed yet, and the diff decides to come up and smack the oil pan. So fortunately, it was in the shallow part of the pan. We were able to not completely lose oil pressure because the deep part's back here. So we got it back to camp, and then we got the Holley system ordered, so we're going to show you how to put that in today.
Okay, so let's see what's in the box. This first box has the skid plate assembly for the pan. The next box has the baffle for the sump. It's got little louvers on the sides there, keeps all the oil contained there in the sump. And the next box is the main box with the pan and the oil pickup tube and a baffle that we will not be using and some miscellaneous hardware.
Okay, so we got all the parts laid out here now. We got all the stuff for the skid plate right here. We got the pan, got the pickup tube. We picked up a Wix 57060, which is what it says, recommends in the instructions. We got the adapter for that oil filter. We got the extra bolts and everything here. And we have the sump over here we talked about earlier. And it's got these neat little hinge pieces here that will let oil flow in, but keeps them from flowing back out. So that way it keeps it right around the pickup. So that's going to be great for off-roading. We want to get some weird angles and stuff. It's going to keep that oil right in the bottom of the pan there where we need it the most. So let's start getting this thing back together now.
We're going to take the time to pre-assemble some of the items inside the sump and also the skid plate.
Okay. Basically, we're taking a stock LS truck pan or 5.3 pan, and we're going to swap it for a Holley 302-4 off-road pan. So we already have the pan removed. Now we're going to remove the pickup tube by removing these two 13 millimeter nuts and one 10 millimeter bolt right here. Same thing, 13 millimeter, we're going to pull this windage tray because we have to cut about that much of it off the front.
Per the instructions.
Per the instructions.
Clean it good.
Okay, so there's what it looks like on the instructions, and there's what it looked like when we're all done. Cut away like that and all ground off, ready to go.
Okay, so we're going to put the windage tray back in. Okay, we got the pan on. All everything's been tightened up, torqued down. We've got the oil filter on. So now we're going to take and put the skid plate in place. We already pre-fit before we put it up there to make it a little easier. Okay, those are all finger tight. And one thing I'm curious about is how this is going to fit back in here for this dust cover, because that does not line up with the hole that's there. Okay, so we ran into a little bit of a snag here. The skid plate, the way this is made, you got a bolt here and a bolt here in the pan. It does not give you provisions to be able to put your dust shield back in. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark this and take just a little bit off of this dust shield here, just a little bit off the bottom, and then cut the bracket off for the skid plate piece here, and then we'll have to be able to bolt this back into its original place, because without that there'll be a bolt here, but this will be wide open. So that's what we're going to do to fix that. Okay, so I got this bracket here cut down so it'll clear the dust shield on the side of the transmission. But something else we got to do too is we have the oil filter guard, which once we slide that in here, it's also going to have to be trimmed a little bit. So we're going to take care of that right now too. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to fit on here a little bit better now. We made some modifications. Get these fingers tight in here. See, now we can get this bolt in here. We got the dust shield in here with the bolt in there. It's gonna fit real good. Side here. And put the other, tighten those up. And finish getting the guard on here. I think we're all set. Put oil in it, we're ready to go. Okay, putting the filter guard on there. We did have to make a slight adjustment on this. Not only did we trim this piece over here so it clears the dust guard, we had to spread this apart just a little bit because these bolt holes didn't line up. So we took an extra large crescent wrench in the vise and basically forced this apart, which widened these holes up a little bit. So they're just over bent a little bit, not a big deal, but it doesn't want to fit without it. And it was actually a pretty good solution for that. So I'll tighten those up, and now we're done. Okay, so there's the pan all in, and there's from the passenger side around the back. You got access to the drain plug right here, 2 bolts, and you can get to the oil filter with no problem. And there's the driver's side of it. And it's got plenty of clearance there for the diff, but what's more important is the distance between here and here. So here's the numbers I've got. So I went over to the shock and I measured from there to there. That's 7.5 inches, pretty much on both sides. So that means I got 7.5 inches straight up travel. So the distance I had here before is the old pan from about right here is where it was colliding on the other side here. And it was about 2.5 inches thick on the pan. This one is 1.25 inches thick in the same place. So right there we gained 1.25 inches just in the pan itself. And the measurement from here to the top of the web, which is right about here, is 7 3/4 inches. So that gives me a whole 1/4 inch right there. Now I can grind a little bit off of this, give me some more clearance. I'm still going to have to install some bump stops because I don't have those in yet. So that will definitely make a difference. And also we notice while we're under here that we have a motor mount that has gone bad. Right here, looks like the bottom one has worked itself out of there. And so we're just going to replace the whole thing. So that might give us about another 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and change both of them out because it looks like that one was just starting to do the same thing. So we had a weak point there, so we're going to fix that. And I think overall, we're in good shape now. Okay, improvements were made today. We got the Holley 302-4 off-road 4x4 oil pan put in. We got the Holley 302-33, the interior baffle for the oil, and the 302-35, which was the skid plate assembly for underneath it. So that entire assembly only took a few hours to install, but a much needed improvement. Plus it gave us the extra clearance we needed between the front diff and the oil pan. So hopefully we don't have any more problems with the diff coming up and smacking that pan. So now we'll go out and do some testing.